We are over 7 billion people on this planet, of which 925 million are starving. Yet, we annually lose and waste 1.3 billion tons of food, or enough to feed 3 billion people. Total per capita food production for human consumption is about 900 kilograms a year in rich countries, almost twice the 460 kilograms a year produced in the poorest regions. In developing countries, 40% of losses occur at post-harvest and processing levels, while in industrialized countries, more than 40% of losses happen at retail and consumer levels. Global quantitative food losses and waste per year are roughly 30% for cereals, 40 to 50% for root crops, fruits, and vegetables, 20% for oil, seeds, meat, and dairy, plus 35% for fish.
Globalization has led to greater technological advancements in the food industry for wealthier countries, resulting in a disparity between food production, consumption, and waste in the United States in comparison to developing countries.
The largest factor that makes this true is the disparity between food production and waste in rich and poor countries. But first, what are rich countries and poor countries, and what defines them? The key factors that define and differentiate between rich and poor countries, or developed and developing countries, is tech availability, standard of living, distribution of income, growth, and unemployment and poverty. The key issue is a lack of infrastructure in developing countries, in particular biotech and machinery for planting, maintenance, harvesting, transportation, and preservation. Biotech can be used to increase nutritional value in crops, increase crop yields, and decrease necessary crop care such as fertilizer. This produces larger amounts of more nutritional food while saving time and money. Loss of food on farms can occur from not having technology such as machinery for seeding, trimming, tilling, crop dusting, harvesting, etc., which can cause crops to be lost in the harvesting stage. The majority of food waste occurs at the transportation, preservation, and distribution stages in developing countries. A lack of refrigeration causes large amounts of food to spoil. Food with the necessary nutritional value are some of the most difficult to preserve, such as fruits, vegetables, and root crops, followed by meat and dairy. Disparities between access to infrastructure leads to less calories allotted per capita in poor countries and more per capita in rich countries. To put this in simpler terms, let's do some math. The average woman needs 2,000 calories per day, and the average male needs 2,500 calories per day. Let's put this in terms of something we can visualize, like Big Macs. A Big Mac has 563 calories, meaning the average person needs 4.44 Big Macs, or roughly 5. This means that the 900 kilograms allotted per capita a year in rich countries is 4,177 Big Macs annually, or 11.44 Big Macs a day. On the other hand, in the poorest regions, 460 kilograms a year allotted per capita is 2,135 Big Macs annually, or 5.8 Big Macs a day. This shows that in both developed and developing countries, enough food is produced to feed everyone, with developed countries allotting over twice as much as needed. Yet, food waste from a lack of infrastructure in developing countries results in malnutrition, playing a large role in the global food crisis.
Another major contributor to global food waste is high cosmetic food standards in the United States. But first, why are there high standards? As mentioned earlier, wealthy countries such as the United States have the infrastructure to greatly increase crop yields. High food production allows for these high standards in rich countries. The issue of high cosmetic standards in the United States is twofold. On one hand, they create food waste in countries that export to the United States. Here is one day's waste from one banana plantation in Ecuador, discarded because they are the wrong shape or size to be exported to the United States. On the other hand, high cosmetic food standards also create food waste within the United States itself. In the business of promotable food, much of this waste comes from grocery stores throwing away food before it goes bad or food that doesn't look appealing to customers. Fresh bread in the form of crusts are often considered unappealing and rarely even reach store shelves. Neither do potatoes of the wrong shape or size for supermarkets. The same goes for produce. Meats unfamiliar and undesirable to the American diet often get wasted also, such as liver, lungs, heads, tails, and kidneys. $160 billion worth of food gets wasted just by grocery stores and their customers in the United States, enough to feed all the world's malnourished people. A potential solution to this food crisis would be to utilize wasted food, since it is inevitable that some amount of waste will always occur. This could be done by feeding waste food to livestock, since most is edible for human consumption. or by reducing cosmetic food standards. Not only would this greatly reduce waste, but would also promote more cohesive international trade. Both of these solutions have the common goal of a more equal distribution of food by decreasing food waste and reallocating where excess food goes. By 2050, our world population is estimated to escalate from 7.8 billion to 9 billion people. Decreasing food waste is crucial not only in addressing this rapid population growth, but also to work towards an end to starvation.